which, by the way, that's what actually clued me into his enjoyment of music. The second thing, besides that he always liked when I play guitar, was he will just sit and watch, like on his iPad, symphonies playing Star Wars music because he liked the music.
Yeah.
But then he'd get into all the instruments and we talk about it. We actually took him to his first symphony back in May when they had Return of the Jedi. The St. Louis Symphony was doing it.
That'd be cool.
Very good.
Did he get into it? The different instruments and things?
Oh yeah, he loves watching all the different instruments and the sounds they make, and we talk about it and stuff. Actually, before you joined, I said tomorrow is his first piano lesson, but he actually originally asked us if he could take violin lessons, and we talked him into piano since we already have a piano, and I thought that's got to be less painful on the ears than somebody learning violin. So let's start with piano. Personally, I think piano is a great place to start because I think when you learn piano, you understand like clefs and scale and stuff. I think it's easier to pick up than it is on stringed instruments, at least personally. I think it's a good place to start with your music education.
Yes, I would agree with that.
The other thing about my son is he seems to be very gifted with math. Like he's going into first grade and he's already learning like third and fourth grade level math stuff, probably because his mother is a math teacher. But their math and music are very related. So it's like makes me wonder, he's got a gift for that. Will that translate over into understanding music?
Absolutely. Yes, I agree with that. I am also both a mathematician and a musician.
Okay.
What is your music, Carl?
Well, I started out on piano in fourth grade and flute in sixth grade and kept those through high school. And when I went to college, I learned to play the carillon, which has been my primary instrument since then.
Right.
I also picked up the piccolo along the way and had a year of organ lessons. And I do a lot singing a lot. I sing in the St. Louis Symphony Chorus.
Oh,
Cool.
You tend to go to the upper end. Hip hop is not going to be one of your métiers, right?
You are absolutely right.
Sometimes when my students ask me if I could play something more recent, I tell them there is no music that's really been made recently. So we got to go back in history a little bit. I said, besides, I have to be able to play something that doesn't have objectionable lyrics. That leaves out a lot of what you guys listen to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's ironic, isn't it? You can't play it, but it's what they're listening to.
Yeah. And it's funny because every now and then at school, they will like want to play music in the hallways. And I think they just put it on and they think, oh, well, this is current. This sounds cool. And I'm like, and I'll talk to my students, I'm like, they have no clue what they're actually playing and what the lyrics are being said, do they? And they're like, no. Or what this, what the references of the songs are about. So
Okay, I'm
taking
going to
up
get
a
started
quarter
here. That's okay with everybody. John's not here yet. Let's see. Steve's here. He's our first vice president. Glenn's our second VP. Alan's here. He's our treasurer. And I'm the secretary. I do the website. Let's see.
And everything else.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm looking at the last Wednesday, July 27th is St. Louis Apple Professionals. We got a link on our website. Upcoming meetings in August. It's a little up in the air, but we're planning garage band follow-up, kind of to what Glenn's doing tonight. And then there might be a guest speaker that he's arranged for. We'll have to see if that works out. And then Steve has talked about an update to Apple Cash and how you can pay your dues through it, since we've noticed that almost nobody does pay their dues that way. They send in checks instead. So we'd rather like to see people try to use the other faster, easier way. Let's see. Membership rewards program. I'm already writing down people's names that are here tonight. There'll be the drawing in December, the December meeting, which is December 13th, for 4 more Apple, $100 Apple gift cards. Let's see.
Hey, Ron, do I get entered 3 times then?
Sure, whatever you want, Glenn. Okay, and let's see.
And somebody else gets to draw.
Yeah, I'll draw with my other hand. Okay, let's see. Oh, we're down to questions and tips. Anybody have a question for the group? I know Lyman
Well-
does.
I have a question. Some of you have already heard it. Charter Spectrum has informed me that they are no longer going to support cable cards in our TiVo, which means that sometime in the near future, our TiVo will be gone, our DVR will be inoperative. And so I've been considering just using my Apple TV and adding another service to replace the array of shows that I get from Charter. And I was thinking of YouTube TV. And so the questions, I really have 2 parts. One, is that even a sound approach? And 2, does anyone have experience with YouTube TV? And Glenn has already told me about his brother's experience. Anybody else have any experience with it, or?
I
any-
thought they just rebranded themselves as a different name TV. I know some of the movies on Amazon were used to be labeled YouTube TV, or was it Google TV?
Okay, but
I don't know.
he's looking for anybody that's using it. Anybody's using,
Or just heard anything, like, oh my God, never do it. I've looked online and some of the reviews say of the services available, that versus Hulu versus so-and-so, it's probably one of the better choices. It's easier to use, it's broad-based, it has Channel 9. There were some advantages, but I just wanted to, before I get ready to pull the trigger and shoot myself in the foot, I want to make sure I'm not aiming at my foot.
Lyman, do you know
Lyman, the
how
other
much
thing-
that costs?
Um,
YouTube TV?
$30 a month or something like
I
that.
have numbers in front of me.
I just wondered, because you have to kind of weigh that against the cost of
Other things, yeah.
all the other services.
It's $65
65.
About
Is that it?
versus 85 that I'm paying for Spectrum now. For the TV part of my package.
Does that include the broadband?
No, broadband is separate. That's just the content part. Related questions, anybody have any perception as to whether AT&T fiber optic cable is better than Spectrum's copper cable? They of course
Lyman,
say
I've
it
got
is. Does anybody think it is, really?
Lyman, I've got a friend who uses it for his home business and he raves about it. I personally haven't used it, but he loves it.
They came into my house with it and I dropped Spectrum and took fiber and I get 400 to 600 megabits per second. Paying for 600, but it doesn't always get it. I know as soon as I did that, Spectrum says, well, they would give me a discount and they would up my rate from 300 to 400 up my things. But the big part that I like is the fact that it's about the same upload as download. So the video should
Yes.
be great.
I so noticed that because part of this is I could just drop Spectrum altogether. Switch
I
to
did.
AT&T for internet and use the streaming service, use YouTube streaming and Apple TV. And essentially I'd be where I am now with Spectrum.
I would add an aerial to it and yeah, I get all the stations or most of them around here.
I'm not gonna go there, Alan, because I'm incompetent. And so it tends to be a minor impediment to my installing aerials. I will screw it firmly to the chimney or something.
Yeah,
Where
but
it can get no signal at all.
where do you live?
Glendale.
I
That-
hired somebody to install an aerial for me years ago, and so they knew how to do it.
Well, if I, supposedly, YouTube TV includes all the local channels, all the networks, Channel 9. So I don't need an aerial for anything else because it's only those that we watch.
Yeah, that's probably true.
That would be nice, but it's not necessary for our watching.
Okay, any other questions out there or comments?
Thank you for your advice, guys.
Sure, Lemon.
Yeah.
Why don't we give the advice that we gave about moving your things around? Who mentioned that? I forgot who it was.
Oh, you just scroll your mouse over each of Glenn's three squares and just hold the mouse down and move it. You can move the square anywhere on your screen as long as you're in gallery view.
Oh, that's. Ah, good way to do that.
Yeah,
Well, how about that? I never knew this could be done.
I didn't know either. I just moved myself.
Just don't move yourself off the screen.
I moved you back.
Over on the
That one.
subject of antennas, okay?
Yeah,
If what I've had to do each time I've put an antenna on, I have to have the television search for the channels again, okay? And
oh,
if you don't do that, then you won't find the channels.
okay.
Yeah, if the TV's directly tuning the channels, you're right. If you move things around, you have to have the TV retune itself.
But I think that you're in a great situation for an indoor flat antenna that you can just lay up somewhere behind anything, as long as it's not blocked too much by metal. You don't
I've
even have
got
to
one of
be
those
outside.
flat antennas and I've just got it hanging on a shade and I'm getting
Mine
all,
too.
and I like it. Was it, I got it on Amazon. I think it was like $35 with the cord and it wasn't, it's doing an excellent job.
You can get it from Best Buy too.
You guys know a name or anything?
No, there's so many of them coming in and out manufacturing it. It's pretty
Yeah,
simple tech.
I think they
Okay.
all pretty much work the same.
But in Glendale, they have those towers. Most of them are down in Shrewsbury area.
Yeah,
I'm in
Oh,
Oakland.
you ought to
and
get great reception if you could just put a small antenna up.
I'm in Oakland and I'm not too far from you.
you're right next door, yeah.
Well, but like Lyman said, if he uses YouTube TV, all the
Yeah, but you
local
don't.
stations are already there.
I used one of them, and I just dropped everything except Prime. And there's so many free ones with an Apple TV that you can get with have movies on them, and maybe my daughter's version of Disney. I think I use that sometimes, but Prime gives you a lot of movies. I don't know what you need to watch, but the local ones will all be handled by an aerial. And
Great.
Okay, any other comments or questions to the group? No, okay. Glenn, are you
I have
ready
one
to
question.
do?
Is
Okay.
the new Apple Mac Air available with the M2 chip? Is that available now or is it still coming?
I don't think any of those are actually out yet, but you might be able to order them already. I couldn't tell you for sure.
I thought the new MacBook Air 13 was out, but I'm not sure about the MacBook Air.
You'd have to go look on Apple's website, I guess. Because I
think
honestly
you can-
couldn't answer that.
I think you can order them, but I'm not sure what's in the stores, but I just haven't been looking.
I know you're set.
Set with my MacBook Pro, but I might be in the market for a new iPad and a new phone soon. you know, it's always evolved.
Yeah.
And I about threw my phone out the window and across the street a few days ago. So
Oh, my gosh, what happened?
you know, I'm tired of, I've got an iPhone, I've got an 11 Pro Max, and my wife has a 7. And she seems to always be able to get better connectivity and load stuff, and I can't. And it's like lately, you know, it just seems like I have a devil of a time with everything. So I'm just getting frustrated.
I bought a 13 Pro recently. I don't know if I showed it to you last month or not. But of all things, it's doing reasonably good work for me. I also bought recently a new Apple Watch, a Series 7. Plus also I picked up some AirTags primarily because I had a hell of a time when I got my eyes examined a while back. And of all things, they dilated my eyes. And I had a hell of a time trying to see and trying to find my car.
You're supposed
So
to
I
have,
said, let's try the AirTags to see if that would help the problem. It didn't quite
Now,
help
wait a
as
minute,
much as
if-
I thought it would.
that's not going to help you
If
drive.
your
though.
eyes are dilated, I hope you weren't trying to find your car.
Yes.
That's exactly what it's trying to do.
Shouldn't be driving if they're that, if it's that hard to
Well, they
see.
gave me kind of a set of sunglasses that fit
Oh,
over.
no, that's not, that's so you could drive though.
Bob, let us know the next time you have an appointment scheduled, would you please?
Yes.
Right.
Off the road.
Yeah, we're gonna have an indoor party that afternoon.
Okay.
By the way,
We're down to member reviews. Is there anybody using a new piece of software or equipment that they'd like to mention or tell the group about? No? Okay, then Glenn, it's you. Glenn's
well,
goodies.
before I start with my goodies tonight, I will say this. I noticed that there is a sale. I've seen a number of models of Series 7 watches, Apple Watches, that have been discounted on Amazon over the last week. If you're in the market for the smaller model in green, they actually have it for $296, which I've never seen it under $300. But it's only the green for some reason. Maybe people aren't buying that color. I don't know.
That's pretty much what I think.
So-
it is.
Well, Amazon has a sale on it now, I think.
Yeah, I've
We had
noticed
it on
that.
the 7 for about.
This is Prime Day.
I know, but it's just for a couple more hours. It's
Tomorrow too.
You know,
Oh, really?
I joke that I joke that we order so much from Amazon around here with our Prime membership that if we didn't order something for a couple weeks, they would send somebody to make sure we're okay. I gotta tell you, as much as we order, I don't think I've ever ordered something on their Prime days before.
I tried to find something on there, and didn't find much.
Well, they've
But
got-
anyway, so if anybody's in the market for Series 7 watches, I just happen to notice they've been discounted on there. So
Well, the Prime Day watch for the large size is $279, normally $399. So that's $120 off today.
wow, that's a good deal.
Yeah. And so if you need an Apple Watch, and it comes more than three colors.
Okay, well, I'll have to check that out because my wife is insistent that her Series 3 is just fine and she doesn't need to upgrade.
Okay.
She will never upgrade until it goes kaput or I give her something new.
Well, right now, if she wants a smaller one with the GPS, it's $279.
I will pass that along after our meeting. All right, well, then I will pull up my goodies here. That sounds really bad.
Can I ask a question of the group?
Quickly,
Does anybody use Adobe Creative Cloud's fonts?
Fonts, I use some of them, but for the most part, I've got such a huge library of my own. I don't generally need to go in there, but I've played around with them. What were you wanting to know?
Oh, I was just curious that if you had a completed job to send to a printer, how do you get the fonts out when Apple keeps them in some hidden place in your system? When Adobe keeps them in some hidden place in your system, I mean,
Well, you can, generally what I do if I need something like that, you can go and there's a command. Are you working? What program are you working in?
We're not working in any. I just
Yeah.
heard from some other person who does work in a program where they were saying they couldn't get their fonts out to put them on the server to go with the print job.
Well, what I do is you can do something like an Illustrator. I do what's called, you create outlines, and I'm taking the fonts and actually making shapes out of them when I want to send something to be printed. So therefore, they're not printing a font, they're printing shapes, so they don't need to worry about the font per se.
Yeah, that's true in that case. But if you have an undesign document,
I don't work in the, the kind of that publishing area, so I can't really speak to that. But generally speaking, if I'm going to have something printed, I'll talk to who I'm working with, to find out, is this going to be doable with these fonts, or I might consider a different font, especially if I'm doing more the publishing area. I would think you're using fonts that are fairly simple and easily readable rather than stuff that's a little more fancy.
yeah. So okay, so if it's a font from the Adobe Creative Cloud, because of its location, then it's considered to be fancy. And you either, if you're an illustrator, you will make it into outlines so that there isn't an issue about getting that off to the printers. Or if you're in InDesign, you're talking to the printers before you even start the job. To see about
Yeah, and let me say this. A lot of printers have Adobe because that's kind of the industry standard for, people who are doing that kind of stuff. So that's first thing I always say, how do you want me to give you my design? And, do you use this? So I usually talk to them first about that so we can solve any of those problems ahead of time rather than just sending something in and then, finding out later on and them calling me and say, hey, we can't do this. So I try to do that to be proactive.
Okay, so you do your font decision making with the printers before you actually begin your creative flow.
Well, sort of, but again, like I said, I do design work, so it's a little different than like desktop publishing kind of stuff. So, or website stuff. I mean, when it comes to websites, when I do websites, I try to stick to things like Arial or very easily readable fonts. When it comes to design stuff, like I said, there are ways around having to have that font installed.
Okay, thank you for that.
Sure.
Okay, Glenn, take it away.
I was just reading the tidbit here that the MacBook Air is now available to order.
Oh, those need to be closed. Just a moment.
So I don't know if you guys have your chat open, but
Who's that?
I forgot to circle back to T-Mobile today.
all right, let me get to
I
my,
have access. I'll be being able to have full access without two-factor and through.
all right. So Glenn's goodies, by the way, whenever I use that term, people laugh. I still have not come up with a better name, so we're going with it for now. So. Oh yeah, I forgot I can't hit my button. I've got to manually click it when I'm sharing. All right, so the first thing I thought was interesting this month was that, Apple's made a real push in the health field. And, and that's kind of been ongoing for, in recent years. And so I thought this was interesting that they've been given the green light by the FDA to monitor Parkinson's symptoms with the Apple Watch. And so they've had the ability to do this to monitor for things like tremors and dyskinesia, which are like involuntary movement kind of stuff. And so basically they were waiting for the FDA to clear them to be able to kind of monitor that stuff. And so the FDA has given them clearance. So it'll be interesting to see here going forward what kind of new monitoring things they have in there, or how that might aid people.
Because I didn't know I hit that. Whatever
All
sounds-
right, the next thing I've got for you, as if phishing wasn't bad enough, the emails you get that, try to get people scamming people. And then we had smishing, which was then with text messages. We now have quishing, or also known as QRshing, depending on how you say it or hear it. And so what this is, it basically combines phishing with a QR code. And it works the same way as, a phishing scam or smishing through text that they're trying to bait you into, using this. You'll note I have here in the middle of the thing, it says people reported they had fake parking tickets with QR codes that they could pay instantly. And since the ticket seemed legit, they paid it and lost their money because of this. So I don't know about you guys, but I would always there are times like just the other day, I had 2 bills I needed to pay and they had QR codes on there. So I just, held the QR codes up to my camera on my computer and boom, I was able to, go right there and pay those bills. But I like to use those, but just be aware, like everything else in this world, if it doesn't seem right, I would avoid using it unless you can verify what it is. So just know that that's the next new little evolution in scamming out there.
That's terrible.
It's awful.
Yeah. I don't know how often you guys use QR codes, but I love to use QR codes. In fact, I've got a little thing hanging on my fridge with QR codes to be able to access my Wi-Fi. So when I have people come over that need to use my Wi-Fi, I say, just go use the QR code there. And then I don't have to give you, it's much easier that way. All right.
You could be making money
Apple-
that way, Glenn.
Well, I was just offering it to guests, if they need to use my Wi-Fi, or when one of us gets knocked off and now I don't have to go look everything up, I just go over and boom, there it is. So, anyway, I've thought about putting that on little magnets and things like that for other things with little, QR codes for whatever I might need. Okay, so Apple Professional Learning virtual conferences they've been offering. I don't know if anybody's familiar with these at all. So basically, Apple hosts these little classes and they're hosted by professional learning specialists. And so they're kind of like these hands-on sessions that are like 60 minutes long, and they lead you through whatever your topic is. And I've got, let's see here. Well, hold on. I got to move can't see anything here. There we go. There we go. Can you all see my browser here?
Yeah.
Okay. So like the conferences they're offering coming up here, you can see some of these and anybody can register for them. And they every 60 minutes they go on and they'll repeat themselves. And so like they've got one about math, there's something about culture and historic tours, language and literacy skills,
Oriented skill.
coding with Swift. So there's all these things and they're supposedly hands-on classes. I've never done one of these. Has anybody ever done this before?
I mean,
Okay, well, if any of you are interested, these are, like I said, Apple Professional Learning virtual conferences. So if you go to events.apple.com, you can find this, and they're done Tuesday through Thursday. So
I think
I
that's
thought
what-
these might be interesting to check out sometime. All right. Where is, oh, they've changed everything. There we go. Okay. All right. I don't know, do a lot of you use widgets on your phone?
I've got a few on my phone.
Okay, well, we're getting more and more ability on our phones to kind of play around with the widgets. And so before I talk about stacking widgets, I thought I'd talk about adding widgets. So if you, darn it, I forget, sorry about that. So if you want to add widgets on your phone, you just press and hold your finger, you get all your little apps jiggling. And then in the upper left-hand corner, there's a little plus sign there, and you just tap on that little plus icon. And then it'll take you into your widgets, and you can choose widgets that you want to add to your home screen. And so you can kind of scroll through or add other widgets. And then once you choose it, you can swipe to the left and you choose which widget size you want. You know, it starts from a little square and then it'll get bigger rectangle and a bigger with more information, depending on how much space you want to take up. And then you just tap the bottom there, add widget. And so what that's done now is it's added the widget to your home screen. And then you can move it around just like any app on there, you know, press and hold, move it around your screen, put it where you want. So once you've got widgets on there, you can now stack them to take up less space. So how basically it's a feature that they call Smart Stack. And so if you have multiple widgets, it's real simple to stack them. And that's what I do on my phone, so that they're all in one place and it's not taking up my whole screen instead of my app. So what you would do to do that is, again, you get into, you know, the press your home screen until the apps are jiggling. And then you're going to drag one widget on top of another one and release it. And so you just keep repeating that process, moving them on top of the stack until you're done. And once you're done, you can now scroll through your widgets. You can also, if you press and hold on the stack, you can edit it. So you can go through and you can delete or add more widgets, or you can change their order. So I've got a little video, quick little video I'll show
Your
you.
next appointment, check the latest headlines, and take a peek at the forecast, all from your home screen. Here's how to add customized widgets starting in iOS 14. We'll show you how to browse to add widgets and how to create a widget stack. Let's start by browsing through the widget gallery to find something to add.
What video?
To do this, touch and hold an empty area on the home screen until you see the app icons jiggle. And then tap the plus sign in the upper left corner. Here, you'll see a few widgets recommended just for you, based on the apps you use most. Keep scrolling down to see the full list of options, and tap to select the one you like. Now, swipe through to select a size, and pick the amount of information that's right for you. Tap Add Widget to add it to your home screen, and then tap Done. You can also view widgets in Today View. To move one over to the home screen, touch and hold a widget, and then drag it towards the right until it moves over to the home screen. Then, choose a place for it, and then tap Done. Want to add widgets without taking up too much space on your home screen? You can stack widgets and swipe through them to see each one. The widget gallery includes an option called Smart Stack. This is a pre-built collection of widgets that rotates throughout the day to show you the most relevant information. You can also build your own stack. Just select a widget, pick a size, and tap Add Widget. Then drag it on top of another widget to create a stack. And tap Done once the stack is in place. Stacks can include up to 10 widgets of the same size. You can also stack widgets that are already on your home screen. Swipe up or down on the stack to flip through each widget. The Smart Rotate feature is turned on by default, so your stack will rotate widgets automatically throughout the day. You can reorder your widgets, delete one from a stack, and edit your stack even more. Just touch and hold the widget stack and tap Edit Stack to view your options. And that's how you can use widgets to customize your home screen experience. For more helpful tips like this, subscribe to the Apple support channel or click another video to keep watching.
All right, so there you have widgets. I like widgets. I think they're useful, but the one thing that I hated when they first came out was that, you know, I wanted to access the apps on my home screen. I didn't want widgets taking up the whole thing. And so I love this ability to be able to stack them and just swipe and find what I need on there. So there you go. There's how you add widgets and create smart stacks. Any questions on that before I go on?
I learned
Okay.
something, Glenn. Thanks.
Sure. That's what I'm here for. All right. Okay. My next thing, you guys have all heard of Wordle. I can't say I really enjoy playing Wordle. My wife loves it, but I found something else called Worldle. So if you like geography or, you know, something like that, this is kind of fun. I taught geography classes for many years. I'm a little bit of a weird geography freak. You can give me a map, and I'll be happy to sit and look at a map for an hour and be entertained. So anyway, each day they'll look at the left half of the screen here. That's what each day, if you play, it looks like. It'll give you an outline map of a country, and you got to try to guess what the country is. And so if you get it right, which on this day I knew that that was Senegal, and I got that right. So boom, that's what showed up. But if you don't get it right, you'll see like on the right-hand side there, it'll put your guess, and then it'll tell you how far away the correct answer is from where you guessed, and the arrow will show you which direction. And so, you know, like the first example they give with Chile, you're 32% because, yeah, you didn't really do a very good job. You're not real close on that one. But like on the second guess with Finland, well, 83%, you know, you're getting closer, plus the distance is cutting down. And so they have a new one each day that rotates. So if anybody is interested, you can see the link down there in the bottom right of the screen to be able to play Worldle. Can't say I play every day, but a lot of days I've got it kind of on there, and I play sort of like people who play Wordle. It's hard to say Wordle and Worldle.
Say that again.
All right. Worldle and Wordle. All right, so here's a fun extension that I have had in Safari for quite a long time. Anybody else ever use Wayback Machine? It's
Years
a cool
ago, I
little
used it
browser.
to look at our old GAMUG website, which was a real mess.
Okay. Well, I just think it's a lot of fun looking back at, like, you know, what stuff used to look like, and you can save websites or read archived, you know, whatever on there that you might find. So like, you know, as an example here, this is what the Apple website looked like on July 15th, 1997. So you can definitely tell, like when I look at that, that just screams the 1990s to me. I don't know about you guys.
It looks like a club thing.
You know, it's just a lot more words. The graphics are a lot simpler because obviously back then we couldn't handle what we do on web pages now. So we didn't have the ability to do what we do now. But it's, to me, it's just sort of fun to kind of look back at web pages and stuff like that. And this was the farthest back one I could find for Apple. I was kind of fishing around going back, and so it was 97, which was the first one I could find. So anyway, Wayback Machine is what it's called, and you can get that on the Apple Store. So it's a fun little extension to play with. And here's something else for nostalgia. You know, I remember when the iPod came out, and it was such a revolution. And of course, now it's kind of silly to think you would have a separate thing. You just use your phone or whatever. But so while we were going way back, I thought you guys might be interested to see the original iPod commercial back in 2001.
iPod, 1,000 songs in your pocket.
I sort of laugh at the whole 1,000, songs now, because I'm like, when somebody just asked, I think I have 12 or 13,000 in my collection, and I could certainly grow that if I wanted to.
We thought it was
So, did
great.
anybody have the original iPod?
I did.
I got an old one with a click wheel like that. I don't know if it's the original one, but
Yeah. Yeah, I never had that click wheel. I sort of waited a little bit, and I jumped in, I think, a couple years later on that. But I think we do forget what a revolution the iPod really was, because I think it's really gotten lost in the whole iPhone thing because it sort of merged. But I mean, it totally really did change music, the whole music industry. And so it's I was like, wow, that's been over 20 years ago that came out. So
yeah.
whoop.
That's all, folks.
All right, there you have it. Glenn's goodies for July.
Thanks, Glenn.
Thank you. Glenn.
Sure.
Before we move on, let me see. I got a kind of a sad note. I don't know if any of the rest of you know this other than the officers, but give me a second here. Are you seeing this picture?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe some of you remember Hannah. I say it wrong, Hannah Canton. She was a longtime member, goes back when we were still meeting at Parkway Central even. And Hannah passed away this past April. And we just found out from her son, she'd gone about 3 years ago to live with her son down in Florida. She remained a member, however, but because of when the COVID thing hit, she stayed there with him. And then she's passed away in April. So I just wanted to mention to you that Hannah, a little bit of a sad thing for me because she was a really nice lady and a good friend. She lived right here in Afton at the time that I got to know her originally.
The thing I always remember about her is she always had a smile on her face and a joke to tell, and just always seemed to liven up the room.
Oh yeah, she was just a wonderful lady, and she was at the time she was our resource director. And I remember when we used to have a lending library. That's originally what she took care of for a time, and then eventually that got kind of outdated, so we stopped using it. And we continued calling her our resource director, and she's still on the website that way. I have to change it, I guess, but just a sad note.
She always brought those arrangements that we gave away at Christmas time.
Yeah, when we had the
concoction of
trivia.
those as a door prize. Yes.
Some of you might have won those door prizes back then. She was the one that always bought them. Okay. That's all I have to say. Glenn, you want to take it away then?
Everybody's going to get sick of hearing from me tonight.
We'll
sure.
let you know if we do.
Okay.
So I'm going to talk a little bit. We're going to delve into the music realm, and I've been a music lover since I can remember, since I was a kid, and as I was mentioning to a few of the people on here before the meeting, I started with piano when I was about 6, took up violin when I was in 3rd grade, and trumpet in the band at 5th grade. And when I was 12, I started playing guitar. And in fact, actually, I talked my father into, one of my guitars that I'm going to share that I'll be using here tonight, I actually talked my father into letting me blow my bar mitzvah money on buying this Fender Stratocaster electric guitar. So I'm not sure if that was the wisest thing or why my dad let me do that, but I still have that guitar that I play with, some 41 years later. So anyway, I've been into music now. I don't play anywhere near like I used to when I was a teenager, which makes perfect sense. I could sit in my room and play my guitar for hours and hours and hours on end. And, honestly, I got away from playing music for quite a long time as an adult. I just, other things to do, whatever. And, for as many negatives as we had with COVID, one of the benefits for me at least was that, being sort of stuck in my house, it was one of the things that I kind of got back to picking up my guitars again. And I really hadn't spent any amount of time playing, in quite a long time. And so it was kind of fun to rediscover that. And there are so many new technological advances in music these days that some of the stuff I'm like, oh my God, if I would have had this stuff when I was, growing up to play around with, I would have been in heaven. And so I just want to share with you guys tonight, like, how do I hook, what are my instruments and how do I hook them up to my computer? How am I using technology to do that? Now, I am not putting on a concert or anything like that for you guys. I'm not doing some big performance here. My goal is just kind of show you the hardware and some of the software I'm using. Now, as Ron mentioned at the beginning here, as I was kind of playing around with this stuff, and I've really this summer gotten into doing a lot of stuff on my computer. And one of the guys' videos that I was kind of watching some of his videos, I have asked him if he would be willing to present. And this month didn't work for him, but he thinks that next month he'd be able to. And so he lives up in Canada and he's a professional. He's got his own studio in his home that he does professional work. And so I'm hoping if everything works out that he'll be able to join us next month and kind of take us through how he puts a whole song together, like creating a song in GarageBand. So I'm just going to touch on a few of the basics about it, and hopefully we can kind of make that a continuation later on. So hopefully, you guys will find something interesting. So I am going to turn on my other video here. And I don't know if I'll need it for sure, but we will find out. So this way, we've got views. So when I'm trying to show you guys stuff, you'll be able to see some of this stuff, what I'm doing here. So we'll see how this all works. And this may be overkill. I may not need it. So the first thing that I want to show you guys is something, and this is called the iRig. And the model of iRig that I have, you'll notice over there, it says HD2. And so this model of iRig is how I connect my guitars to I do it through my MacBook Pro, but you can also do it through your iPad as well. And so this here, this 1/4-inch cable, this is where I plug this goes to my guitar. And I'll kind of show you when I get a guitar out in a second on this end here. And you can see that just plugs in. There is a second 1/4-inch place that I can then take if I want to run this out. And I've got a couple amps here, a guitar amp and a bass amp. I could plug that to. So like, for instance, if you're playing live and you wanted to use some of the software on your computer, but run it through the amps, you could do that. I've messed around with it, but I don't really have a need to do that necessarily. I just play through my computer speakers because frankly, the speakers on, the newer MacBook Pros are pretty good. On the other side of this here, I have this connection and it is just simply, hold on, I got it on my computer here. I don't know if you can see that. It's just, a USB-C connector there. And that was why I went with the HD2 because of the connector that I could go straight into my computer without having to use adapters. Other people have other models, but this thing is taking the sound and it's processing it through. And so as I'm going through some stuff, I've got a number of little short videos I'm going to show you that go over some of this stuff with you. So what I'd like to do is, let's see here. Let me make sure I've got this ready to go. I'm going to share a quick little video, just a couple minutes long, about the iRig for you guys, so you can learn more about that. Now, my wife said it was hard for her to hear, so I am going to put on captions. Oh, I forgot I got to start the video to do that. So that way, if anybody's having a hard time following around, they'll be following it. They'll be on the bottom there.
Good.
All right, why are we not playing? Okay, let's try reloading this.
24-bit analog to digital conversion, the best in its class. iRig HD2 accurately and
Okay, sorry.
iRig HD2, play and record at a higher level. iRig HD2 is the next generation of the best-selling digital guitar interface for iPhone, iPad, Mac, and PC that lets you plug in and play anytime, anywhere with spectacular high-resolution tone. First, iRig HD2 sounds amazing. It captures a pure, clean, and noiseless high-resolution guitar signal with recording studio quality 96K sample rate and 24-bit analog to digital conversion. The best in its class. iRig HD2 accurately and transparently reproduces your guitar's unique tonal qualities for playing and recording.
Glenn, we've lost the audio.
Oh, boy.
And we show no text.
Glenn, can you hear us? I guess not.
I don't think so.
Oh, boy.
I'll call him. Oh, there he is.
Hey, Glenn.
Oh, boy.
Alan, go ahead and call him.
Call Glenn House.
Which phone number for Glenn House? Calling now.
He doesn't answer.
Okay. There you go. Okay, can you guys hear me all right now?
Yeah, we hear you.
Now we can.
Yeah,
Yes, now we can.
So did you lose the sound on the video?
Yes.
Yeah. Last couple minutes.
Halfway through.
Halfway through? All right, let me try that again. I know what happened, and I'm gonna switch when I'm done here, I'll switch my audio when I start to show you guys stuff. I guess I'll have to go back and forth. It's the whole Zoom thing it's hard to do that and this. So let me try this again and see where sorry about that, guys.
Okay.
I don't know where I was, so I'll kind of start here maybe.
Quality preamp and a volume control that actually sounds superior to the output on some devices. The output from the headphone jack is the processed stereo signal from your device, so you can also send it to a mixer or powered speakers. For live performance, iRig HD2 has an amp out jack that lets you plug directly into a guitar amplifier with a standard instrument cable for use on stage. What's great about this is it has an effects groove switch that lets you control the type of signal going to your amp. Choose to send a processed signal from your device or computer to your amp, or send a clean, unprocessed signal. This is great for live performance when using your device as a front-end pedal board and effects processor for you, or when you want to record on your device or use it as a tuner, but use your live rig for performance. iRig HD2 comes fully loaded with full versions of the world's best-selling guitar and bass tone crafting and recording studio, Amplitude. Now you have the complete guitar signal chain, pedal board, amplifier and cabinet, post effects, microphone and recording studio with you wherever you go. iRig HD2 also features a handy mic stand holder bracket and Velcro strip, so when using it live on stage, you can secure it conveniently to your microphone stand. iRig HD2 gives you superior sound quality and player-centric features at an unbeatable value. iRig HD2. Play and record at a higher level.
All right, did I play pretty much what you lost the audio on?
Yeah.
Okay. And I originally put this stuff together and I made other videos of this. My wife said, no, you better show it the subtitles. So I wanted to continue with this little part.
Then how much does it cost?
So we were checking out the iRig
Hold on, let me play this and I'll come back to your question.
Okay.
HD2, and it just seems like the technology is becoming easier and better to use. I was totally surprised. I guess I just didn't expect it to have the feel. It sounds like an amp. It's crazy.
What I really enjoy about the interface is it has an extra output that I can either route into an effects unit or directly into my amplifier.
You can monitor and still send your signal off somewhere else.
It has to be small, it has to be affordable, but it also has to have the kind of quality that you would expect.
The fact that it's so compact and the software is so deep and powerful, it's a portable solution, sounds really good. This is like Guy came up on his next step. I mean, literally, I could put the iRig HD2 and my iPhone in the same pocket and literally have a studio. I'd be ready to roll just about anywhere, anytime.
Okay, somebody asked about cost. So most of the time I see it for 119, although you can find deals on that. I just saw the other day a deal on Amazon for $79. I'm pretty sure when I bought it, I don't remember exactly now because I bought this a couple of years ago. I know I paid more than $100 for it though.
Okay.
So now when you plug this in, they mention there is software when you buy this, it comes with it, but it's kind of the demo software that you get with it. I have never bought the full version of it. So there's one thing, and they mention in here called Amplitude. And it is basically an amplifier software program that you can play through. I have not, I just have kind of their basic version. I don't have like all the unlock stuff. So I'm going to use another little video here too to show you what this is, because I don't have the full versions of it. So I'm going to let them show you instead.
The industry's most popular ambient effects modeling takes a giant leap forward with Amplitude 5, offering a powerful new workflow, even more realistic sound, tons of new gear models, and more creative sound shaping than ever. Amplitude 5 reaches new heights. So let's take a look at how you can harness all this power. First, Amplitude 5 has been redesigned from the ground up with a sleek, intuitive interface that can be freely resized to fit your workspace or DAW. Workflow is smoother and faster than ever with 3 main sections: chain, gear view, and gear selector. Thanks to the new drag and drop operation, creating and modifying gear chains is elevated to a whole new level. Freely place gear anywhere in the chain and swap it around at will to discover cool, unique new sounds. The chain itself has been expanded for unprecedented flexibility. You can now select up to 4 different configurations. First, a mono chain with up to 2 cabinets driven by 1 amp. Two-way, drive 2 amps and 2 cabinets fed by a mono source. Three-way, 3 independent amps and cabs for wet, dry, wet, and other advanced setups. Parallel stereo, where a stereo source feeds 2 channels processed independently for true stereo operation, useful for double-tracked guitars or keyboards. The DI signal can also be routed before or after the initial stomp box section for added flexibility when blending back in with the processed sounds. And in all of these combinations, the gear view window stays linked to the chain for immediate visual reference and quick access to the parameters of whichever model you're adjusting. Speaking of gear, the already massive collection of stomps, amps, cabinets, microphones, and effects gets even bigger with 2 new stomps, 5 new amps, 1 new cab, and 19 new effects racks. Many of the best modules and T-racks redesigned specifically for Amplitude 5, plus 2 new rooms to place your cabinets in. But Amplitude 5 goes further, with over 100 completely redone cabinets in an all-new cab section. Our new volumetric impulse response, or VIR, uses powerful new impulse response technology to offer the most realistic cab sounds ever at every position. For each cabinet, we measured 600 distinct IRs per speaker, so up to 2,400 IRs per cabinet to capture the unique sound of each cab, the different microphones, and their precise 3D placement, and even the interaction of the floor and bleed from other speakers. With over 143,000 IRs in total, every amp in Amplitude 5 now sounds virtually indistinguishable from the real thing. You can also now import your own IRs and load them into Amplitude 5 with the option to tilt or resize them. And since all this new technology couldn't come without some eye candy, all of the legacy gear in Amplitude 5 sports a fresh new photorealistic look to accompany their crisp new sound. All this gear goodness converges in an entirely new mixer section where all the signals from each signal path plus DI can be mixed together for subtly layered textures or in-your-face wall of sound. And Amplitude 5 refreshes many of the best-loved features of previous versions, such as the 8-track recorder for laying down your ideas and instantly capturing new tracks. The looper, now with 2 tracks and infinite layers, an improved live mode for use with Stomp IO for live performances, and a new redesigned custom shop with advanced browsing and trial features, and an all-new preset browser with new filters and advanced search criteria. Amplitude 5 takes the sound, features, gear, and convenience of Amplitude to all new heights. This is no small step. This is truly a giant leap for amp kind. Take the leap now.
So this software is really cool because it almost, it almost gets rid of the need to have a real amp. You can just play your, if you're just playing at home, you can literally play through this and you can make different sounds. And what I think is really neat about it is how you can maneuver the microphones and you can, get different sounds out of the same type of amplifier and cabinet. All those little effects pedals that they were moving around in there, you can put effects on stuff. And so the software out there now, that's what I was saying, is like, man, if I would have had this stuff to work with as a kid, I would have gone crazy with it. And some of this is cool, but all these different amps you got to buy and effects you got to buy. And I haven't, done that just because I didn't really feel the need to spend all the money on that. It wasn't something that I wanted to do. So, but now you've heard all this, like all their whiz bang technology, and I'm talking about that. And a lot of the stuff might've been a little confusing. Let me just show you this video of this guy demonstrating how some of the sounds work.
Okay. No.
We're not getting it.
No. Looks good.
Yeah, just no audio.
So what he's doing here is he's taking 10, like it says, legendary guitar riffs, and he is showing you how he's using that sound to sound like the song.
I've gone across.
All of these amps and the way he's got them set up, he's got the sounds for these songs by using different amps.
We're not getting anything.
What does the picture with the two mics in front of the speaker mean to you? That one.
So anyway, what I was trying to show you there is just by changing the type of amp and the settings on there, he's able to create the sounds that sound just like these songs. Were you able to all hear this okay, by the way?
Nope.
No, there's no sound coming through.
Just a few clicks.
No,
A few
no
swim.
sound.
Did you hear the last one okay?
No.
Sorry, guys. I don't know what happened there because the first
Sounded like feedback. Like a feedback loop.
really.
Would it help?
Okay,
if we
well,
we muted ourselves? Would that be better? Maybe there's too many audio.
No, I don't think it's
Zoom.
I don't think it's you. I can try turning my other devices. I can stop them and then come back if we in a minute and reset those up. Let me see if that, well, let me do this. No, I don't want to do that. I don't know why that first video played and this one didn't. So tell me, let me try this again and tell me what you're hearing then.
It's chirpy. It's just a bang, then nothing. Frozen.
Okay, well, I don't know what's going on with this, so I won't play. Basically, he's playing like these legendary, songs, and he's showing you how different, amps using the different amps and effects he's playing, and it sounds just like the real songs that he's playing using these amplifiers. I'm not sure why this is not working. Let me stop the share. I'll try it one more time here, and then if it's not, I'm just going to move on. Sorry about the technical difficulties here, guys. That's one of the problems that I was worried about with doing this with Zoom, is that because sometimes when you share things, it does, things don't always quite work how I want them to through sharing on Zoom. So let me try this again. Okay, can you guys all see the video?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's try it again and see if you can hear it.
Nope.
No, no sounds coming through.
No sound.
No sound?
Nope.
Ooh, I don't understand what's going on with that. Okay, well, all right. Well, I apologize on that then. It was kind of neat. I picked this video up because you could really see by using the software and these amps how, again, the software is made by IK Multimedia, which also makes the iRig. And you could see how by using this, you don't even need physical amplifiers, because this software is creating all of these different amplifiers to create all the different sounds you want. You're just not going to get a huge booming amplifier. You're playing it through, your computer instead. What supposedly I could do is play that through my amplifier. I've never tried that though, I will admit. So maybe I can try it again later. I don't know why that was not working, because sorry that you guys are sitting there watching a video and I didn't realize, like, next time wave to me or something. So I know right away. Yeah. Because it's going, and I'm trying to kind of get things moving there. All right. So like I said, that's their software, but there's a lot of other software out there to use. And so what I want to share with you guys now, and we'll see how this goes. I am fingers crossed you're going to be able to hear this. If not, I might go to sound on a different device and leave the sound on here. So there are, when I play my guitar, so I've got my guitar here. Some of you might recognize one of these. It's a Fender Stratocaster, very classic electric guitar. That's what I was saying I blew my bar mitzvah money on, by the way.
Oh my gosh.
So I need to get plugged in here. I think this is where I'm going to need to switch over. So let me switch over on the iPad here and turn the audio off.
Your audio's out.
He muted himself on his computer.
Oh, okay.
Here we go. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Oh, there's an echo.
Oh, we got the echo again.
Okay. I had this working when I was showing this to when doing this with my wife the other night. I did a run through and it was working.
It's working now.
Yeah, it's because I'm using my iPad, but in order not to get the echo, I had to mute my computer. But the problem is, if I mute my computer, you will not hear anything I'm playing. So let me go back here. This all worked the other night, so I apologize if this is not working well. Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Can hear you now.
All right, I'm going to try plugging my iRig in now, and I may lose audio with you guys because that's what happened a little while ago, because it's using different inputs and it's got to switch the inputs. So we will see what happens.
Nope.
Is this echoing?
No.
Talk,
You
talk
gotta
some more.
talk a little bit.
All right, how about now?
It's
Doesn't
good.
seem to be.
Reasonably clear.
Sounds good.
Okay, I think I've got it now because I've switched the audio over, so I don't have two audio from Zoom going on. So I think we're in better shape now. All right, so what I want to show you guys now is something called, well, let me go to, first of all, this is a website called ultimateguitar.com. And I would have loved to have had this when I was really playing a lot as a teenager, because back then it was all about listening to songs and then trying to noodle around and figure out what they're doing, rewind, play, you know, kind of thing. Or occasionally a magazine would have, you know, the music in there and you try to figure it out. This thing called ultimateguitar.com, and it basically has millions of songs in here. And so you can go and pick any song, like there's official tab. Let's see here, Hotel California. So if I wanted to learn how to play Hotel California here, and I'm going to share this with you. Hold on. Sorry, I forgot to share. Let me go back here so you can see this. I apologize. Too many different things trying to do here at once. There we go. Sorry about that. So
We can see that.
yeah, this is ultimateguitar.com. And so anyway, they have the music on here. So like I was just about to say, let's say you wanted to learn how to play Hotel California. Well, you would go in here and this would pull up the what's called tablature. And so for those of you who don't know anything about guitar, this is showing the 6 strings of a guitar and where you would play the note. So that first 9 you see, you know, would just be on the 9th fret down here, or excuse me, up here. And so you can learn to play it. But the cool thing is, if I hit play on my keyboard, I'm hoping you guys can hear this. Let me know if you can or not. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So it's showing you, you can hear it as you play along, and down here, it's showing you on the fretboard, you know, where your fingers go. But the cool thing also is I can take that and I can slow that speed down. So let's say I'm trying to learn it and I can put it a slower speed to play along with. So I can change the speed, trying to get it back up to normal speed until you're playing at speed. So you can play along with this as it goes. The other thing is they have these things backing track. Instead of just that little MIDI sound, you can load. Come on, there we go. And now if I go back here, it'll sound a little more realistic. And so not only do they have this for guitar, but like, let's say I want to learn the bass line. I can go down here and there's the bass line as well. And so you can see they've got all the different guitars and the different instruments that will allow you to learn. And so these days that makes it so much easier. When I want to learn a song, I can pick it up. It'll tell you the tuning and what key it's in. You know, maybe you just want to play some chords. You know, you can simplify it and you can just play chords here with it. And so this is an invaluable website, and you can, I've got an account on here and everything. So I've got, like, you know, my favorite tabs and things that I can, you know, play. And then also people will put their playing up there. So there's kind of a social component to it. Now, a cool thing that the people who created the site created is something called Tone Bridge. ToneBridge will allow you to get the sound of any guitar piece that you want. Are you guys seeing ToneBridge here?
No.
No, Ultimate
No?
Guitar.
Okay, hold on. Let me stop the share. It's going to make me do it this way. There we go. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Temptation.
Okay. Yes.
My girl.
I literally just thought, I just heard the song My Girl, and I thought right before I got on here, and so I just pulled this up. So they have people that have designed, they have found the sound of the guitar for songs, not just how to play it. So like, I'm sure you guys all know the song My Girl by The Temptations. So if I hit play here, this will preview the sound. So if you know the song, that sounded like the guitar in the song, didn't it?
Oh, yeah.
So, and there's all kinds of pedals here that you can choose, you know, like, I don't know, let's see, here's Pink Floyd. Well, I was learning the bass line a while back. So here's, you know, what they have done. They have gone and found settings for the guitar and they programmed it in here. So now when I play my guitar, if I choose that, when I play through this, and I've got to make sure I've got my iRig set up. But when I pick something like, where was, let's see, My Girl.
Another one bites the dust.
Oh yeah, I just sometimes phone around, but let's say if I wanted to, again, that was that sound. So my guitar, you know, has that sound that they have programmed because I'm playing through this. Does that make sense, guys, what I'm trying to say here?
Okay, you chose a setting for that.
I'm using their programmed pedal, their setting, and now I've got that song. So now let's say I wanted to learn how to play the song. The cool thing is they integrate this with the website Ultimate Guitar, so I can hit open tab and I can find My Girl here and I can go there. Now I've never played this before. Well, that's the bass. I want the guitar. So if I look at this right here, you know, on that, when I get up to here, you know, if I look at that, and you know, it looks like, and I'm just looking at this for the first time here. So, and you can see I'm playing that. I know the notes to play and I've got the actual sound. So instead of just playing my guitar and the notes, I can now play it. And if I play it well enough, sound like what, you know, that song would sound like. So I could play along with this and learn the song. And that, you know, again, I've got the rhythm guitar, the little splash chords that are playing along with it. So I think I use this Ultimate Guitar and ToneBridge all the time, you know, learning songs and just learning riffs and things like that. I'm going to swap out real quickly here my guitar for my bass. So this is also, by the way, Fender Squire. It's a P bass, precision bass. And so I can do the same things, you know, with this, like, let's go back here. So, well, wait a minute, there was money. I just saw it, where'd I go? I think that most of you probably are familiar with this. Whoop, wrong one, sorry. I gotta find the bass. I presume most of you have heard that riff before.
Oh, yeah.
So again, if I go to open tab, I can find, you know, money. I can sit here. This one I played. Unfortunately, my fingers just don't want to stretch quite as much, but you know, We'll give it a try here. Sorry, I'm playing when I play guitar and then I'm switching over to bass. It's like So again, I can use iRig works with my bass guitar, you know, or it works with my regular guitar, either one. You know, I was looking at, come on, where are, next page. I gotta find it. I got so much crap in here from, there we go. No, I don't want to rate you. So I can have it play and you can try to play along with it. I find it hard to do just because it's not the real song and it's, you know, I'm not playing with other people, so it's hard to get the timing, but I can kind of.
Wish we could watch you play.
You're saying that's not the bass line, but so you know. So anyway, you can see I can sit and play along with stuff, you know, and whatever song. And like I said, they've got more than 1 million songs on there, and there's jazz stuff as well, although that starts to become a lot harder than rock stuff. But you know, and so it's a lot for me. I don't necessarily always sit and play along with full songs. A lot of things for me I'm using are just, you know, kind of riff kind of things, you know, like. And I'm just learning, you know, there's another one, Bites the Dust, you know, just riffs. So I use this quite a bit. When I'm fooling around, I'm using these two things constantly. Now, switching gears here just a little bit. I also have, I'm not sure where I've got. There we go. All right, so you guys can see there, I've got a MIDI keyboard here. And for those of you who don't know what a MIDI keyboard is, it's not something I can just play on its own. I've got to play it through something else. So again, just like using my iRig, I've got another cable here, plugs into the back of the keyboard. Again, it's a USB-C cable. I just plug it right into my Mac here, if I can get it in there. And then what I'm going to do here is for here, I'm going to use GarageBand to do this. So let me just get this set up and I'm going to share this with you. All right, are you guys seeing GarageBand here?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I don't know how many of you are familiar with GarageBand. Has anybody fooled around with GarageBand?
I played MIDI songs through it.
Long time ago.
Okay. Well, GarageBand has really evolved, and for a free program, it's pretty darn good. Now, GarageBand is what we call a DAW or DAW. And for those of you who've never heard of that, it's a digital audio workstation. So GarageBand is Apple's free version of this, and a lot of people who get into doing music kind of start here. But the pay version, if you will, the more fancy version of GarageBand is something called Logic Pro, which is a couple $100. And it takes GarageBand and then it gets a little more complex, allows you a lot more, allows you to do a lot more things and a lot more flexibility with it. And Logic Pro, along with another DAW called Pro Tools, are the industry standards. This is what people in professional studios, the software they use to record music these days. It's all done on computer. And so, GarageBand's fun. I have not gone up to Logic Pro. I haven't really seen a need yet to spend $200. GarageBand gives me enough to play with. Now, if I were to go to Logic Pro, I'd get a lot more sounds. But basically, my keyboard is plugged in here. And so now you can hear, well, maybe we can't hear. Why am I not hearing? We're just having all kinds of sound issues today. Give me 1 second to figure this out. I apologize, guys. I was hoping it was going to go a little more seamlessly than this.
It's a computer presentation. What did you expect?
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. What would be causing this is the problem. There you go. All right, can you guys hear that?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I just got a piano and I can play through here. So it's just an electric piano sound. I mean, I can change that. Like if I wanted to go to like a regular piano, I can change my sound. And so now it is replicating the sound of a Steinway grand piano. I can also go into synthesizers and I've got all kinds of, stuff I can do. I don't know. So I can sit and I can play anything. I can, even do, let's see, brass. Let's find, I can play a bass. Now, I'm not going to get into recording a whole GarageBand thing for you, just a few basics. But the cool thing when you record, I can plug my guitars in here. Like if I want to add a guitar track, I can do that here. And I can grab my bass guitar. And you're hearing my guitar through there. So I can lay down any track. Like if I just wanted to do I'm not going to record like, come on, get out of the way. So if I just wanted to record that, I just recorded that bass. Now I've laid down a bass track on there. So it allows me to bring in instruments like that. You can also mic stuff up, or I can play MIDI. So let's say I wanted to, and I'm not trying to make anything nice sounding here, so bear with me on that. I've lost my sound, hold on. It's being real wonky with my sound tonight. I don't know why. Let's go back to this. There we are. Okay, sorry. And I can go and I can lay down this. Okay, so I just, and they don't go together at all, but now you can see I've laid down 2 tracks. The cool thing about when you do a MIDI track where I'm using my keyboard rather than a real instrument, if I bring this up, you can see these are all the notes I'm playing. And I can change the notes. Like I don't want that one as long. Let's shorten that, or let's drop that down here and move this one, here. And so I can, when you record MIDI using your keyboard, I literally have that kind of fine control. Like let's say I hit a wrong note, I can change the note. Or maybe I'm playing a chord and one of my notes is a little too long, I can shorten that. With the like bass track that I lay down, since it's a physical one, I just get this. I can't actually, I'd have to re-record it. Now I can change the the pitch and the key of things. I can change the tempo in there, but it's kind of cool. So you can do, I can add all kinds of stuff in here if I want. You also have what are called loops. And if I bring this up, GarageBand has thousands of loops in here. Like, let's see, well, looks like it's a bass loop. Okay, so I can pick any instrument. Let's say we want to try, I don't know, let's try a drum kit here. So there's all kinds of loops, and I can drag a loop in here, you know, and now I'm starting to create a song. So I'm not going to get too detailed into here. These are just the basics of how you can use different songs. I've done a few things. I record little things all the time. I don't record full songs. My wife's like, well, where are the lyrics? Where is the singing? I'm like, I don't do singing. That's not me. I'll do instruments. So like I just using some of my instruments and some of the loops, I'll play for you something I created. It's kind of a more of a smooth jazz kind of thing here. Let me stop this share for you, and I'll show you just something I share with you, something I created just messing around. Give me 1 second to pull this up. Where in the world? Oh, there we go. Sorry. All right. Tell me if you guys can hear this.
Yes.
Like somebody beating on the wall. Oh, different.
Can you guys hear this okay?
Yes.
Oh, dance music.
So that is something I literally created. I used a few loops. I used a few of my instruments here, and I just put it together. It's kind of a little jazzy composition I put together. And so I kind of have fun just doing stuff like that. You know, I'm not trying to be a professional musician or anything, just having a lot of fun with it. But that's kind of the stuff you can put together using GarageBand. So this is just sort of an introduction. It wasn't meant as anything in depth here, just seeing how I connect my instruments and some of the software that I use. I apologize for some of the sound problems I've had along the way here. I was hoping that would be a lot smoother tonight. Can I answer any questions for you guys?
Do you ever play your music as accompaniment for your sitting around house? The stuff you wrote with GarageBand?
You know, here's like I played this
It was
composition.
nice.
You know, I played this composition for my wife last week, and she's like, well, there's no singing, so it's not interesting to me.
Come on.
So I'm like, well, I don't sing, I don't have any lyrics or, I'm not a singer. So,
Glenn,
you know, yeah.
what's the legal status of the songs that they have available? How are residuals and rights handled on all the songs? I mean, you're deconstructing the music, but it's still proprietary for some of them. They're still under copyright.
This stuff is not, because what I was using is I use both my instruments and then you can use those loops. Those loops in there, you are free to use. Even if you are making professional music, you could do that. I actually was reading up on that not too long ago because I was curious, kind of like you, and I read that that's not an issue.
What about money? I mean, not when you're making, but let's assume that you're using money or you're, we were
Oh, all
listening to
musicians
that.
use loops for other people.
These loops that are here, you are free to use them commercially. That was, I like I said, I read up on that just a few weeks back. I was curious on that.
Huh.
So, and there are other loops that people provide out there that you can download. Now, I've had problem downloading loops lately. I used to be able to do it, but now since everything went to 32-bit, a lot of this stuff won't load in because it's got to be 32-bit on the Mac. So, but you can find other loops out there. I've got other software. I didn't show you other like synthesizer programs that bring in other sounds that I can create. But, like I don't play saxophone, so I brought in that little saxophone thing in there, for instance. But, I've got things where I might lay down a bass part and then I'll put in just a little guitar part and I might do a little keyboard thing. I'm like, oh yeah, I want a saxophone. Then I'll go grab a loop of a saxophone or something since I don't play saxophone. And so a lot of that stuff I just mix together.
Question.
Yeah.
What kind of synthesizer programs are you talking about?
Well, a lot of it I do right from my keyboard here. So, I mean, all the sounds that I was kind of like, there are hundreds of different sounds that I can, playing through GarageBand that I was showing you just a minute ago. Let me go back to this here.
So use GarageBand, create your own sounds.
Yeah, you can. Now, that doesn't mean you're limited to it because there are like that IK Multimedia who makes the iRig. They also make a program called Syntronic. But again, I've got kind of their base package. I haven't bought other packages to get other sounds and stuff like that in there. Taking you back to GarageBand just real briefly here. Let's see. Yeah, that was my synthesizer. So like, I can find anything like, let's go back to synthesizer, even have sound effects. I don't know what this is, but I could put that sound in. I mean, I could, again, I don't even know what a lot of this stuff is. Soundscapes, ghostly reverse organ. I don't know what warm rain. Okay. Let's see here. Just trying to find some weird things. Well, that's not. I could come up with other bass sounds. So instead of playing it on my bass, I could play it on here. So Terry, to kind of what I'm saying is I have all kinds of sounds that I can use that are out here. If I don't like those sounds though, I can play with settings. Like I can take that, I just did that by transposing up an octave. I can also use I've got little, I don't know if you can see what I'm doing back here from my phone view, but Like I'm putting that vibrato in there by using this little wheel on my keyboard here. So I can, bend things. So I can take any of these sounds and then I can kind of create with my keyboard. So the sky's the limit for whatever you can imagine or whatever you want to put in there. Like I said, I'm not crazy about their strings here. That's supposed to be like strings, but I can also, like I said, if I can't quite hit the bass how I want it to, I could go in here and I could pick a bass. Wait, I'm still transposed way up. I can play bass from, here and make a bass track. Does that answer your question, Terry?
Yes. Another
And like
question is, if you're going to play your guitar out in public and you want to play an existing song such as Money, what copyright concerns are there?
If you're just like I'm playing at a bar and I'm just a cover band, there aren't. You can cover tunes. I mean, I'm not, other than just playing it for, people's entertainment. I mean, there are millions of cover bands out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not like trying to sell it and make money off of that.
Also,
No
as long
pun
as you're
intended.
playing for free, there is no copyright.
Well, I can get paid for my time and my labor, but I can't get paid for the song, if that makes sense.
Oh, so if somebody wants to pay you, say, $200 to play the guitar for 4 hours, that's okay. And you can play copyrighted songs because you're being paid for your time to play the guitar.
Yeah, I'm not trying to sell whatever song I'm playing as this is Glenn's song, that would be a copyright violation. Now if I wanted to take that and I wanted to use that full song in like a commercial or a movie, then I'd also have to pay royalties to the artist. So it all depends on how you're doing that. So
I see.
Like I said, I didn't want to make this too in-depth, too involved, but I hope that aside from a few of my videos not being able to hear sound, I hope it was interesting, that you guys learned a little something tonight. That was my goal. And, I'm hoping that this gentleman who, like I said, he's a professional musician. He owns a studio. He's in Canada. What I'd like for him to do is come in and actually kind of get into GarageBand a little bit, because and show you how he puts together a song and do this for real for you guys. So
cool.
would that interest you guys?
Yeah, that'd be better. But he's gonna have maybe the same issues of playing it.
Well, I hope not. So I'm going to try to talk to him and kind of figure out. I mean, I don't like those second YouTube video section I tried to do. I don't know why that wouldn't work and the first one did. I mean, I understand where I lost the sound because I plugged in and it hijacked my sound. Now, I'm curious if you indulge me for a minute here. If I go back to that video now that I'm doing it through my iPad sound, I'm wondering if this will play.
Have to share again.
I'll go back to the guy who was playing the legendary, whoa. Oh, come on, where am I at here? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so tell me if you guys can hear this and I'll share this again. I'm just curious if this will work this way. Can you guys hear that?
Yeah, but it's muted.
It's kind of, it came on strong and then quit.
Well, he's about to play. He's playing these. This was this Amplitude software, and he's showing you in the little square, kind of on the bottom there, what he's using, and then he's playing, and you can see it sounds just like the songs.
That's much better.
So he's literally changing the different amp settings on here to get that sound of these songs. And then he's playing along through this amp.
Wow.
Anyway, you guys get the point here.
Much
So
better.
that was what I,
That's much better.
so you can see just by using that software, you know, it is making you sound just like, you know, what the sound is. Obviously, you got to be able to play it still, and you can run that through your amp if you want a bigger sound. Now, professional musicians will take this stuff and they can use it live. You can take that iRig and you can, that was the first videos, you could use this on stage. They also have like mixing equipment, mixing software and stuff. You can run these sounds. So like if you're performing this live and you wanted it to sound like the song, you could use the software, run it through the amp while you're on stage. You would have, you know, an iPad or a MacBook or whatever you wanted up there on stage with you doing this to actually make that work. And so professional musicians use this stuff by, this is by IK Multimedia.
That's good.
So anyway, so I ran a little longer than I anticipated. Sorry there, Ron. I think I gobbled into some time. You were going to do some other stuff there.
So I have one more 10-minute thing I want to show the group before we sign off.
All this changing around and moving stuff and figuring stuff, it takes longer than I thought it would.
So here's my share. Can you all see that black screen?
Blue.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Oh, I didn't explain what this is. Well, it says the evolution of Mac OS. If you've had a Mac for a really long time, you'll recognize some of these old OSs all the way to present time. System 0.97.
I've been painting every fence I know, every color pleasing to the same. 'Cause before you go and walk away, yeah, you gotta know where you're going.
Remember the old font mover?
Just like me. Yeah, you gotta know where you're going.
My first Mac had System 6 on it.
I've been painting every fence I know, every color pleasing to the same. 'Cause before you go and walk away, yeah, you gotta know where you're going. Hey, oh, hey, oh.
There's a lot of good trivia questions in here.
Well, it brought back some memories, didn't it?
Yeah, like John Connor's going to ask on Christmas meetings for
Yeah.
trivia.
John might get some ideas from that, I know.
Yeah.
Well, I remember I think my first Mac ran System 6. I probably saw one earlier than that, but that's the last one I remember, earliest I remember.
My first Mac was an LC. It came with 6, but I had a coupon to get 7. 'Cause remember back in those days, you had to pay for the new
Yeah.
systems.
Yeah.
And because I just bought it, so anyway,
I started with System 3.
System 3, cool. How
I
old
don't
are
know what
you?
my first one was, but I've currently got a machine running 8.1 that I use.
Really? What's weird is I still have all those old boxes. I don't know why, but all the old System 10s that you had to buy. I still got all those. Why did I save them? I don't know, but
Carl, is that one of those performers you got from me?
gosh, I don't know.
No, that's a 9600 that I've had for donkey's years.
Okay.
And it still runs well?
Oh, yeah.
Cool. Okay, guys, thanks for coming tonight. Thanks, Glenn, for all your rigmarole. iRig. I know there was
I
a
hope
lot
that
of.
wasn't too rambling for everybody.
No,
hope
but I know that was
wasn't
tough because
too
it's a
much.
lot of back and forth and trying to make things all work together on Zoom. So thanks a lot for all that effort, and we'll hope to get y'all back next month, okay?
Tom, thank you. Glenn, thank you. Nice to see everybody.
Okay.
All right.
Take care.
Take care, guys.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.